Hey, Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, we're going to go over that red on the altcoin charts. Bitcoin pretty much just going sideways. This is to be expected, guys. We are in Bitcoin season. It is not altcoin season. You guys are not too late. If things start pumping again, altcoin season hasn't even begun, so don't feel bad if you haven't been able to get in on this pump. It's really for the Bitcoin maxis. It's for the Bitcoin traders, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of this, macro that we have going on here. Of course, we had the PPI data come in, which is, a measure of inflation, and it was better than expected. So expected was 0.4, it was 0.2, significantly less than 0.5. We had minus 0.1 over here. Expected was 0.3, same as last time, and so that was, of course, an improvement. This does allow people to be a little bit more confident that the Fed won't increase interest rates, or they won't increase it by 50 basis points at least. So 50% of the market thinks it's going to be no increase. 50% thinks it's going to be 25 basis points. If it's 25 basis points to 50 basis points, we could sink considerably in the charts around March 22nd, I believe it is. And if it's no increase, then of course charts do have room to pump. So everything may be a little bit just up in the air right now. If you're wondering, we're probably going to have some sideways action. Maybe Bitcoin could have another pump, but let's go to the charts to check that out. So we do have the 4-hour here. Previously, we did put a line in the sand for holding that kind of bullish level on the 4-hour, and boy, did we. And you can see this little wick here on the 4-hour. So the 4-hour has been defending, the 4-hour bulls have been defending that line quite strongly. But it is time for an update. So even though my last momentum pool has been working just perfectly, we did get a change where the volatility pivot is now overhead on the 4-hour. And you guys know my position on that. If the volatility pivot moves from below to above, that means my bias switches to bearish, okay? Not bearish per se, but just that we could have pullbacks. We could have some sideways action. It might not necessarily just pump the way that some people want to. And after all of this pumping, right, which was pretty much, a nice 35% pump, okay, if you guys got in on that. On Bitcoin, guys, then, the chart is due for a little bit of sideways action. And the 4-hour is saying, look, I can barely hold on to the new momentum pool, which is going to close in an hour and a half. The key level for that is going to be 24,440. But if you want to see bulls maintaining that control that they've had over the chart, that line that they've been defending that's just super bullish, that would have a chance to pump again, maybe to $27,000 or even $28,000, then of course we will want to defend that $24,610 line on the basically that corresponds to the bullish control zone on the RSI. Guys, if we want to add some momentum to the upside, basically undo what we dropped over here, you can just ignore this kind of wick. And the key level that we really have to look for is 25,205. Above that, I start getting pretty excited again. I start thinking, ooh, maybe Bitcoin can do this. And above 25,735, then I just have to have my bias to the upside. Right now, just we're playing around with the bottom of the alpha momentum pool, so we've lost a level or two of momentum, but the bulls are still in control. We don't want to lose 24,440. Why? Because that could put all of this area down here into play, which then could potentially feed the bears, right? And then if we feed the bears, they don't gain control until 21,800 on the 4-hour, which we're pretty far away from. So, we can just ignore that for the time being. Guys, let's just do that update on the next episode, because you understand the line in the sand we want to hold. And yeah, I mean, you can see that fight, right? This candle keeps turning blue and red back and forth. So the bulls and the bears are really fighting for this level. So don't fade the alpha momentum pools, guys. This stuff is the real deal. We have just conformed to every level I have put out for the last, months and months, the last year and a half or so. And so, guys, the alpha fam is absolutely killing it as long as we maintain, our awareness of these key thresholds, and as long as we respect the momentum pool here, guys. Let's go ahead and switch to the daily and see what the daily has in store for us, because we were also holding on to a bullish control area. Well, actually, we kind of got rejected by the bullish control area on the daily, right? That's what we pumped to. We escaped the bearish control zone, and then we pumped to the bullish control zone. But neither the bulls nor the bears were able to fully take control of this chart. Now, I would say a 35% pump is incredibly bullish. But considering how much Bitcoin has fallen over the last year or so or whatnot, it really is still a lot of work that must be done to repair things. And of course, this was a huge dip. So essentially, we just recovered that dip. We didn't really put bulls into control, right? But bulls needed to be up here in order to be in control over on this area. And so we're basically just to the same spot. Now, that doesn't mean anything bearish whatsoever. It just does suggest that, right now we weren't able to hold the bullish control zone at 24,573, and we did lose that hold momentum above 24,765. That would have led us to just maybe go sideways or maybe even pump up. But right here, bears are at least succeeding in getting us out of the bullish control zone on the daily. So if we do close here in an hour, bears will have done their job of just dragging us into the mud of the alpha momentum pool. Now, for the alpha momentum pool, you guys may remember that the key point here is we don't really know which way things are going to trade if we're inside of the alpha momentum pool. We want to be, breaking out to the top of it or breaking out to the bottom of it, and then have the volatility line up at the opposite side of whichever area we're breaking towards. So right now we're breaking down into the pool, but the volatility pivot is on the opposite side. So these are two different processes. They're basically going to negate each other out. What does that suggest? Just some type of consolidation to me, okay? We're also above the daily continuation level at 22,565, so the MACD is going to continue to be bullish, and we don't really lose substantial momentum until under 22,130, which is a little bit of a psychological level there, which then could take us back to our lows here at 20,444, which if we lose, we'll lose the volatility pivot, and then I'll be biased to the downside, where bears could take control of the chart under 19,545. However, we are nowhere near there, and so I think really what's going on is just the 4-hour is putting in a bit of a war to see if we're going to do a consolidation era on the chart, or if we're going to go for one last pump maybe to 27, 28,000 before we put in some consolidation. And, this could take a couple days to play out because, again, we pumped a whopping 35%, guys, right? And so you should expect charts to cool down. Do not FOMO on 30% pumps, okay? A pump is pretty significant if it's 15 to 20%. Like, that's crazy. That's almost a bull run just by itself, 20%. But, when, at least in traditional stocks, right, something like 40% on Bitcoin. But, guys, when we do have these type of pumps, usually we're looking for maybe at least 10%, maybe 15% or 20% pullbacks in order to find a good entry. And a lot of professional traders, they don't look at anything as a good entry unless it's, pretty deep on the fibs, right? And sometimes the 618, right, or the 50 is a pretty good value for them. That would put us around 23,000, basically in the middle of the momentum pool. You can see the 618 on the fibs is pretty much at the bottom of the momentum pool. And so if we do over the next couple of days, just kind of explore that momentum pool or whatever, that would be a good value for experienced traders who then might take us back to the upside. Now, the alternative is that we don't really break down and that we just continue to pump, and this was just a brief breathing period, right? But we shall see. Guys, I think I'm going to end it there. Beautiful job. Congratulations on all who took these plays. Don't forget to take your profit. Please always make sure to pay yourself for what you're doing, okay? Don't be loyal to these coins. These coins will not be loyal to you, okay? Always be taking your profit. Put food on the table. Guys, do not be perma bears. Do not be perma bulls. Just be clever little alpha monkeys, and we will do our best. As your alpha for the day, stay safe and happy trading.